Hello and welcome to another edition of Pastor's Library. My name is Stephen Redman and this is the channel when we talk about everything to do with theological books, books that might be on your reading list for a seminary course, for a master's degree or a bachelor's degree, or might just simply be something you've seen when visiting your vicar or pastor and seen them on the shelf and you've got questions. Well, this is where we try to answer those. And of course, if you have any questions, please leave them in the messaging underneath this video. And remember to click like if you like what we say, and also to click subscribe and ring the bell. And that way you'll know as soon as we release another episode of Pastor's Library. Well, today I want us to talk about one particular book. It's one of those books that says dictionary at the beginning of its title. And it's a book that has a very, very specific niche. And it's this book, the Dictionary of Deities and Demons in the Bible. It's a 960-page book. It's a good hardback with a grey cover and a great slipcover as well. And I am referring today to the second edition, which is extensively revised from the original version. This has been a major job for the editors who have their names on the cover, Van der Toorn, Becking and Van der Horst. But it has contributions from a really serious list of authors. There are some in this list that you would do well to know of them. There are others that will be familiar to you if you've looked into similar areas of study, and others that you'll be aware of from maybe commentaries they've written in the past. There's people like David Awney, who did the Word Biblical Commentary on Revelation, George Nicholsberg, who did the 2-volume commentary for the Hermenia series on First Enoch, and Christopher Rowland, who has written quite widely in theological circles. And this book simply is the go-to place to look for information on demons and deities that are mentioned specifically in our Bibles. You will find a reference for every one that's mentioned in our Bibles. You may not find a reference to them at all if they aren't actually mentioned in the Bible. But for example, if there's one that is relevant to the study of these matters, then you may find them mentioned elsewhere, like Anu, the Mesopotamian god of the heavens. He's mentioned under heavens, but he doesn't have his own area because he isn't mentioned actually in our Bibles. But what you will find is that there are a number of other deities that are mentioned in general categories. So what's this about really? Well, if like me, you've got a daughter who will always come up with something like, Dad, tell me about the Nephilim. Oh, there's a good section on Nephilim. And there's something like 2¼ pages, which in this 960-page tome is quite a significant amount. And it will tell you about the earliest things we know about them from Genesis 6. It will talk to you about the issue of interpretation of the sons of God. Were they hybrids with angels, or were they just sons of Seth? And it will go into that in depth in the article. Again, another one that I've had thrown at me is Dagon. And Dagon has got 3½ pages in this book. And it will tell you everything about Dagon, including stuff that you had no right to know. Like, for example, our word for grain is derived from the name Dagon. So there you have it. So basically speaking, what you'll find is in each section there are 4 subcategories in which deity will be explained to you. So firstly, it will tell you about the name of the God, the etymology of the word. It will also show you the details about the identity and character and the role of the deity in its original culture, which of course might be different to what we get in our Bibles. The third section will identify the role and nature of the deity within our Bibles. And the last, the 4th section, will give you relevant bibliography. And this, of course, bibliography is incredibly powerful. I mean, I've said this on a number of other videos, but I get most of my reading material from bibliographies. And there have been a number of books that I have bought because I have been studying something that was in this dictionary and it was listed in the bibliography. And I think it's always good when we are looking in matters like this to consider the reading matter of the people who have written these sections, these articles for us, because we know what they've read, and if we read that as well, we might get a little bit more than they felt was necessary to put into their article that they were writing. And it's a very helpful tool. So let me suggest to you, always check the bibliographies. Don't ignore them, don't rush past them, but that is an important part of this book. So this really is a way that you can use, just like any other dictionary, but to look up the names of deities or demons mentioned in the Bible, and for you to get a background into them, rather than just to read the name and carry on as if nothing else had happened. But it allows you to understand what the local culture that spawned that deity thought about it, and also what its relevance was in our Bibles. And that's a really good thing to do. So let me just say one thing to you though. This book is hellishly expensive. And if you manage to find a first edition before it was updated, they aren't a lot cheaper and they aren't half as good a book, to be honest. I would really recommend that you stick your neck out for a second edition. But I was very grateful for this one because I put it on my Christmas list and one of my children bought it for me. When I bought this, it was over £125. And that's a lot of money in British money. And in dollars, it's certainly more than that at the moment. So whatever you're looking for, bear in mind some of these very helpful books, very helpful reference books, are of course expensive. And that's why it's great if you've got access to a library where you can dip into one of these when you need it for reference. But the reality is that if you want one for yourself, it might set you back a bit. It might be one of those books that you have to save up for, or like I say, put on your Christmas list. I hope that's helped you. I really do suggest to you that's a very good book. I actually use it quite regularly, and it's been a great help to me, and I trust that this video will be a great help to you. Remember to put any comments or questions in the text below, and until next time, I wish you well. God bless you. Bye.